All right, I'm hoping to run through a problem here from exam one, number 3, that I'm giving you an opportunity to get rewrite credit for. I want to give an explanation of something. I'm not going to do that exact problem, but I'm going to work through a different one. I want to explain something first, though. Let me go ahead and get the iPad up here and share with you the idea of something that you can't do that in the process of trying to solve this problem. If you look at the situation, given that the limit as x goes to 0 of sine of x over x equals 1, all right, so the number inside the parenthesis that's going on there with the sine function, the sine that you're taking the sine of, the value that you're taking the sine of, that value inside the parentheses has to be exactly the same as that number in the denominator. And given in the problem that 8x was inside that parentheses, it was kind of obvious that the number in the bottom, you need to somehow get those to be the same. And one way is to multiply that 2x by 4. There were several of you, as a matter of fact, that multiplied that 8 by 1/4 and got 2x, okay? Now, there's a challenge there. Multiplying the sine value by the number you're taking, the angle that you're taking the sine of, if you change that by a multiple, you're not just multiplying, it's not just an algebraic manipulation. Look, I'll show you an example. If I have the sine of pi over 2, for instance, okay, on the unit circle, you know, pi over 2, this is 0, here's pi over 2's up here, and that's 0, 1, so the sine at pi over 2 is equal to 1, all right? Well, look what happens when I multiply pi over 2 by 2, okay? If I went inside and multiplied the number inside the parenthesis by 2 times pi over 2, that gives me pi, right? And sine of pi is down here. That is -1, 0. The sine value is 0. So if you multiplied the bottom by 2, then that means you multiplied that fraction by 2 in the bottom. That you took half of it. You multiply it by inside the parentheses of sine up top by 2, it changed from going from 1 to 0. Okay, that's not a multiple of 2. So you get it in your head, you cannot change the inside, it's not a linear relationship. The algebraic change, whatever you multiply the bottom by, it's not a one-for-one kind of an arrangement. So you can't multiply inside the parentheses. So the thing is that you need to multiply the bottom to match what's in the top, all right? So if we've got, and a problem that was given in the text was, what if the limit as x goes to 0 of, I'm going to use x instead of theta, the book used theta, over x, all right? Here's our situation. No, there's a sign on top, isn't there? Yeah. So we've got the sine of 3x over x, all right? So you cannot multiply that, well, you can, but it's wrong. You can't multiply that 3 by 1/3 and make it x and be able to use the rule, because the 1/3 changes the angle, and that's different than a linear arrangement. So one of the situations, so we've got to multiply the bottom by 3 in order to get it to be the same as what's in the parentheses. So if I multiply the bottom by 3, that'll make that 3x. I've got to multiply the top by 3, okay? To algebraically, you have to multiply the top and bottom by the same thing. Notice, so that 3 is not affecting the 3x, so it's going to need to be out front, okay? The idea there, all right? So what you end up with ends up being, and then you can take it all the way out front. That's 3 times the limit. So this is equal to 3 times the limit as x goes to 0 of the sine of 3x over 3x now, because this 3 goes here and this 3 goes in front, okay? And now you've got this in here, and as long in the text, they made a point to change that 3x to t. So they got it to look the same to make sure it was clear that you end up with this relationship that we started with. The given circumstance up top is sine of x over x. The limit as x goes to 0 of that. It's got to be the same. There's no coefficient in front of the variable. So that now gives us that this portion of it is equal to 1. So that's equal to 3 times 1. So the answer now is 3. Okay? So you go ahead and do that now with this situation. And it's worth an 8-point question. That means if you got the 80% I had said, so you can get up to 6.4 on that question. If you got less than 6.4, if you redo it, I'll look at you and smile, and no, I'm not going to give you 100th of a point. It's going to be a matter of 6.4 is the max I'll go on that question for rewrite, okay? So did that. If you've got questions on it, email me, check with me or something like that. We'll verify it and get the solution to the problem, all right? And now I'll do a separate one for number 10. All right, thank you.